Verse 8. See to it that no one takes you captive through hollow and deceptive philosophy, which depends on human tradition and the elemental spiritual forces of this world rather than on Christ. So now Paul is going to just kind of do a face-to-face confrontation with this heresy. This confrontation might go all the way through chapter 3, verse 5. Some might even say down through chapter 3, verse 17. And in this section, we're not going to mention each of them, but in this section, there are 15 words that are used here that aren't used anywhere else in the New Testament. And there are 21 words that are used here that are used less than 5 other places in the New Testament. So the thought is that Paul is using the words of the heretics back on them. He's using some of the phrases of the heretics as he's confronting them. And one of those words or phrases is takes you captive. He says, see to it that no one takes you captive. And the idea is, don't let anyone kidnap you with their empty and deceptive teaching. Their empty and deceptive teaching, he says, depends on putting human traditions ahead of Jesus and elemental spiritual forces ahead of Jesus. Now, that phrase, elemental spiritual forces, nobody's sure what that means. Okay? It could be, it means basic building blocks is the idea of it. We just don't know what he's referring to. So just as letters are the basic building blocks of written language, it could mean here that there's a certain order in which things need to take place. So maybe this is part of Gnosticism. Okay, Gnosticism was a philosophy or a heresy that infiltrated the New Testament churches. Was around for a little while after New Testament. But it comes from the word to know. It comes from the word for knowledge. And the idea is that there is secret knowledge you have to have kind of to unlock the really super spiritual things. And so it could be that what they're talking about here is, well, first you need to have this secret knowledge. And then once you get that, then you can discover this secret knowledge. And then once you get that, then there's another step, and you can, kind of all these little passages and rites of passage that you have to go through to really become something spiritually. It could be referring to that. I'm not saying it is. That's one of the thoughts. Some think that Paul is talking here about the order or ranks of demonic forces. Because he says down in chapter 2, verse 10, he refers to powers and authorities throughout this section. We just don't know. So we can't really, sorry, I wish I could give you a clearer idea of what Paul is referring to there. We just don't know. But the Colossians knew what Paul was talking about. Okay? They were close enough to the source. When they read that, they said, yeah, I get you, Paul. And we read that and we kind of go, what is he talking about? That's the way it is.